Mr. Kai Wilson, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
A brew in hand.
Absolutely.
Relax.
Should we have a little cheers before we...
Shall we? Chin chin. Now, you're joining us today fresh from a win at the Most Wanted Awards,
Yeah.
Best New Salon.
Embarrassing speech.
What? Not at all. It was from the heart. A little bit blue, but it always is with you. Congratulations on that, but also I want to hear, what was it like on the night to hear your name called out again as a Most Wanted winner after all those years of being an it-lister? What's the journey been like?
So the journey for me it's just mega interesting, I would say, just for myself. It keeps me entertained doing stuff like this.
Yep.
And I always say it's a really good way of like me sitting down and just going through what I've done for the whole year and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a work like for the whole 10 years that I've been building up to this moment. It's like it was about building myself, and it was all about self-promotion and stuff like that. And I obviously find it very easy. I'm joking. Obviously, with the helps of you and everybody else that I delegate things to that do it for me. But yeah, and now the salons are there, and they're finally taking off after 3 years of graft, and it's now time to shine this little baby.
Fantastic. You said about the graft. It's been a lot of work, and literally, you know, you've come here today. Your dad's building a studio for you.
Yeah.
How has that whole process been? I mean, in that time, you've also started a family. I mean, you've got an awful lot going on. How do you balance everything?
Again, delegation is key, and just an understanding surroundings, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, the graft is, do you know what, like taking on this new studio, so it's going to be a photographic studio.
Right,
it's next door to the Social London at the minute.
Perfect.
So we've taken on another room, but this is the thing that I enjoy the most.
Okay.
Like once it's done, I get bored.
I get that impression.
So,
get bored easily.
But it's also, I know when to stop.
And talk us through the concept behind the Social, particularly because obviously you've got a base up in the Lake Districts as well, also in East London. Talk me through how it's evolved, what you want to achieve with it.
So it's evolved from me wanting to make a little bit of extra cash, cutting hair on the streets and doing pop-up salons when I was working in other salons. And then I needed a house. That was the next step, so why not bang a salon in there at the same time? So my bed was literally above the backwash. But yeah, the progression now is we've got 2 solid foundations in there, and I've spent a lot of time over the last few years building bricks and mortar and developing this. So the whole ethos around the Social is exactly like the name. So we like a bit of a party, and even just like now we go like rock climbing together. It's like it's cool. Like you spend so much time, you might as well do something before work, after work, and in work, and etc.
And of course you've got Sarah Black from Linton and Mac.
Big up the girl.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, she's wicked. She's an amazing colourist, and she's obviously developing herself within the industry, which is awesome to see. And using the Social as a little vessel to do that as well.
And if somebody wants to come and join you at the Social and be a Northern grafter, how do they...
We call them Socialites.
Socialites, I love it.
There you go.
There we go. If somebody wants to be a Socialite, how the heck do they go about doing it?
Basically, the way it is, we have a shared calendar with all the freelancers.
Okay.
You get added to that.
Right.
And you see what days are available. So there's loads of things that go on this salon that's not just freelancers. So there's education, brands come in and do workshops, there's photo shoots, and now we've got the photo studio that's going to develop even more.
Brilliant.
But then you know if there's a chair available. If there is, you put your name on it.
Got you.
And then we have an online booking system where you can direct your clients to book on and do that. And the reason why I have an online booking system is to, as much as I like a load of freedom and a bit of a free-for-all, there's a little bit of consistency with an online booking system, just with like the reminders and stuff like that. And it's just a bonus for them to use as well. And that's it really. And then you come in, you do your day, you pay, and you leave it spotless.
Of course.
And and then you book away,
Now, you mentioned then about the early part of your career, cutting hair on the streets, the pop-ups. You've worked with an incredible mix of non-hair collaborators. I saw you Monday night. You were drinking from a bottle of beer from the brewery where you did your first pop-up. What do you think you've learnt from those guys that you've collaborated with who are outside the hair industry?
So I would definitely say just persistence. Like, I've seen these guys, proper just give it their all. And also, like, I've seen people that have created these businesses and we've collaborated in the past and stuff, and they've also taken steps back. And it's really cool because, like, they've never ever seen it as failure. It's just like, that time period's gone. Let's move on to the next thing and see what's going to evolve from that.
I think about some of the guys that you've worked with over your career. Who would you say are the ones that have really had an influence on you, really mentored you?
All of my bosses, really, do you know, like, that have been in, just going way back to Kendall. We've got Daniel Gray and Nicola that helped me out, and they took me on when I was 18. I wasn't having the government funding for as long as I should have, you know, so they took a massive gamble, and that's what's now the problem within the industry, because nobody wants to take on older people because they don't get the government funding.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, someone took a chance on me, which is really cool, and obviously, like, I've got a mouth, and they probably regretted it at some point, but the training there was phenomenal. Like, they've brought out some wicked stars in the industry already, and I also had, like, different people that had moved up from London and Brighton to, like, help me out and mentor me there as well. And it was, even though it's in the Lake District, it was a mega salon, a mega team, and they really did drive in, like, my foundations, really. So I met Mark Woolley, that's got the electric brand.
Okay.
And he used to ring me up and, you know, give it the big licks. It was an IB film. I was a horny little 18-year-old that was like, yeah, I want to do this. This is really cool, you know, like. And then I moved down to London and worked in Marylebone and did loads of stuff with Mark, which was absolutely awesome. And I think he's a really, really cool, like, people's person. His brand is super, super strong. But I was just wanting to get a little bit more into, like, the session sort of industry. So I heard that Mr. Reed was...
Mr. Adam Reed, yes.
That had an amazing space in East London. I heard that through the session circuit as well. So my gym was there at the time, and not that I go to one now, but... and I just went in one day and it was cool. He showed me around the space, and by Monday I'd started, which was awesome. So again, you know, he's got Paul Percival, which is his business partner.
Yep.
And they had to chat it through, and I had an interview, and I remember going bright red, knocking water over down in the office and in this little basement where Jack the Ripper,
where the dogs all live, and
And it was cool, but it's a really cool team, and like, the opportunities that I got there was phenomenal.
I get the impression, Kai, you're probably a lot of fun to work with and to be on a project with. What would you say has been the most fun you've had on a project so far?
So I did a show last year for Babyliss.
Right.
And that was really cool. That was probably, like, the biggest thing I've done as an individual.
Okay.
Do you know? So I've done a whole load of stuff around the world on teams, but as an individual, that was, like, it's quite a big deal, like, curating this team together, like, and it was on quite a large scale. But I think what we did on stage was really, really cool. And again, it was just pulling in the contacts that I've had over the years that I've known. So we had Sonny McCartney, he came and shot it live on stage. We met on Instagram, do you know, like, as much as I hate saying that, I'd rather have bumped into him in the streets, but
on the gram.
But yeah, he came and shot it live, and we got Luke Pluckrose. I used to assist him years and years ago, and again, you know, he used to get me free labour, and I used to go anywhere around just to help this dude out and be a part of this team. And it was I used to have so much fun doing that, and it was always, like, mega opportunities, like Coldplay videos and like just stuff that when you're, again, in the Lake District and you're 18, you're going to absolutely throw yourself at.
What makes you happiest at work?
Building new things, like, as a journey. That's the thing that gets me most excited, and the thing that makes me mentally happiest is when I'm creating, as in, like, something physical, nothing to do with hairdressing. So when I'm creating, like, something that's going to be, like, an amazing experience for somebody else, or just when I guess because you're doing it for others as well. You're not just I'm not just doing it for myself. What's the point? Because that'll be pretty lonely. But I always say hairdressing is, like, to me, is a massive escapism. Okay. And when I'm actually cutting hair, I forget about loads of stuff, and you're just focusing on that moment and that time. So, yeah.
Do you remember the point as a teenager where you were like, yeah, this is it, this is what I want to do, it's hair? Or was there never that one moment, it was just...
Nah, it's just straight in there.
Okay.
Honestly, I went for a job interview at Daniel Gray. They gave me, well, I didn't actually, I just walked in. It wasn't an interview. It was my own interview, pre-planned, you know, went in pretty smart. Well, I thought I was smart. I thought I looked like a little thug. But yeah, they gave me a job, and then ever since that, it was really cool. Like, it was just straight in there. They threw me into shoot straight away.
Right.
I had a girl there called Verity who, she moved up from London, and she gave me this like awesome start to like photo shoot work. And we had like mega clients that were like ladies and lords that had castles, and we did like, yeah, just on literally we just ring them up. Can we use that as a location now to do that? I'd be like, yeah, for 50 fucking K, mate.
Oh, man. You have got a personality. Is it really obvious to you when you need to kind of like turn, I don't know, the kindness up and when you need to turn it down?
Yeah, definitely sometimes you need to hype yourself up if you're not there mentally, do you know? If you just might be a little bit exhausted that day or whatever, and you have to like flip the switch and shot flow mode, innit? Get on with it. We do it every day in the salon anyway. So, and I used to work in retail when I was 16, and that was definitely the case.
What did you sell?
I sold luggage. And then that developed to cutware and bedding, and I remember one time I was extremely hungover, and this lady bought some bedding, and I went and took it into the back, and I fell asleep. And then the owner of the store came down, and everyone was so scared of her, and I pretended I was delicately ill. Yeah, and she made me go home, and I still had a job. Like, it was just fucking crazy. I should have been sacked so many times from that place, but it was really cool vibe.
So we've talked about young Kai. What about other youngsters looking for a career?
Yeah.
We're hearing about this dearth of young talent choosing hairdressing at the moment. What do you think we need to do as an industry, as hairdressers, to share what is available in terms of hairdressing? How do we get these kids in?
Well, I think like everyone's career starts in the salon, you know, you don't just become a session stylist or whatever overnight, or even assisting at that level. So it starts in the salon, and that's where it needs to be exciting. But straight away, I think we need to be showing them the different avenues of what can go on, from education, from show work, from shoots, for campaigns, to loads of different things. And that is pretty exciting. And it's also like, you know, yes, this is the ways, but you've got to understand that you are learning a skill that you are set up for life. Like, even if, you know, you might move away, you can still cut hair, can't you?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't cost anything really to cut hair, obviously, just to have your scissors. So I think, yeah, you just need more people just chatting about it generally. Do you know, like, I don't think schools are taking it away. I don't think the government are definitely taking it away because we don't pay them enough. But then, like, that's what it is, and it always has been. But it's like, if they are switched on enough, they'll do exactly what I did and cut their mate's hair and make cash whilst they're training. Like, there's always ways to make money.
Yep.
And that's not even the be-all and end-all. It's a cool career, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's just getting that message out.
To meet you guys.
That's the highlight. Can you think of a time where you have been told...
Off?
Yeah. But you've been told you can't do this, or that's no good, or just something that's really then driven you on to, I'm going to show you, I can do this. What is it that kind of drives you and gets, does anything ever get under your skin? You have to prove people wrong?
I guess like any experience like that, I've probably blanked out, but most people in our industry don't really give like a lot of negative criticism. So a lot of people, yeah, there's like knobheads and stuff, like there is in every industry, but like there's never anyone that's like told me that I couldn't really do anything. Okay. Like ever. That's probably been the problem, do you know, like, or not the problem. But no one's ever really said you can't do anything. They would constructively criticise, and they would say do it this way and do it that way, and that's the only way that I've got better, do you know, like. Definitely at the start, it was always my dad going, "You're getting paid for that?" And it's like, "No, Dad, you're going all the way to Paris, you're not getting paid." I'm like, "Dad, I'll cut hair in hostel, don't worry about it." But now it's obviously palmed off, but we should have been getting paid for that, you know, 100%. That's the way it is.
Absolutely.
Northern grafters.
Northern grafters. What role have your parents played in, I guess, your ambition, in some of your influences as well? Because the show you were talking about earlier, was that the one that you based on kind of your Northern parents Soul. When they were younger, Northern Soul fans? Yeah. I mean, it feels like to me they play such a huge role in your life and your work. Yeah. Talk me through that. What do you get from them?
Just their determination and work ethos is like awesome. They're both self-employed. I've spoken about it before. That's where the whole stop trying to be fucking famous comes in. And they graft extremely hard, but bring a decent family dinner up at the same time, which is really cool.
So thinking about when you were a kid and they were Northern Soul fans, and I remember you saying something about them moving all the furniture so they could dance.
In the kitchen, yeah. My dad used to high clap and kick his leg up into the splits, and like he taught me how to break dance a little bit. Not that I can do it for Toffee, but do you know what? When we go to a wedding, especially, actually it was my birthday and they come down, right? And we had some Northern Soul on and they were starting dancing, and one of my mates was like, is that how they all dance up north? Like, and it's not, but it should be, because like it's so cool when they get up there, and I just pretend I know what I'm doing, but obviously a few sherbets.
But it must have been, I don't know, a really stylish family environment to be in when you were a kid. Is that something that, in terms of a lot of the styling that you're doing now for shoots or anything, that you're kind of pulling from that?
We're all super visual as a family, I would say. So my mum's a music teacher, but she's also like a masseuse. She does a lot of distance healing and stuff, which is fucking crazy. She literally could treat you, and she's in the Lake District down here. I'm like, Mum, I'm pretty sure you just
semi-positive vibes.
I'm pretty sure you just go to sleep. No, but and we always have a laugh that she doesn't work, but she works really hard as well. Do you know, like, and she does piano. So it was never a case of me. I used to swim 6 days a week with my sister, and we used to like compete and do that sort of thing. And then you're looking shocked.
I'm surprised at that. Yeah.
Broad shoulders now.
I can see it now.
And then I quit just because I sort of like I lost a bit of heart in it, and I didn't quit actually. It was just a door closing. Do you know?
Okay,
like
there we go. Yes.
And then she was like, "You're not just going to be hanging about on Goose Home, which is like a little shitty park next to our house, with Mad Jeff drinking Strongbows." She was like, you've got to do something. So I had to start this brass band, which is highly embarrassing for me when I was younger, because my mates used to play cricket, even though that is highly embarrassing, I would say. But like, they used to play cricket, and we used to play in the clubhouse, and I used to play trumpet, and we used to go Dickie Bows marching, and obviously I started music and that I think that's been one of the biggest influences in it, because my dad used to drive me all around the country listening to our shite music of like, we used to be in like screamo bands, proper screamo, heavy. I used to strangle myself with a microphone lead, loads of stuff. It was great for the girls, do you know, like, because you were a lead singer in a band, and it was ace. And we've been on tour and we've done that, and I used to create t-shirts and we used to sell them and make money, and I used to then manage other bands to make money out of that. And but the one thing about the music, I would say, was it gave me confidence to do this sort of stuff. Right. Actually talking to clients, especially when you've cut half their hair off that you shouldn't have. It's then realising how to go about and making it better very quickly.
Well, Kai Wilton, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. You have been, indeed, very social. Thank you. Next time, please remember your trumpet.
I will.
Thank you.